welcome to the Krewe d'Etat Parade. With me, Mardi Gras historian Errol Laborde, yay, and Ashley Deaton, who is on Drive-By Karaoke, a social media reality show. Welcome, welcome. You're going to be our person on the street, our parade reporter. What do you think you're going to see out there?
I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to be on the street in the middle of all the action. I'm going to talk to some parade goers and just give you a really up close and personal view of all the fun.
Absolutely. And my goodness, do we have a theme tonight? Tell us about that, E.
The theme is called Heroes and Zeros, which really fits in because, as long as there have been carnivals, there's always been a tradition of satire, of poking fun at institutions and people. Not all crews do satire. Several do in New Orleans, and Krewe d'Etat is one of the best with their humor, but also with their floats, with the sculpturing they do on their floats. If you really want to see a classical satirical parade, watch this parade and look at what they're trying to say. Some of the things are pretty daring, all right, but it's really always a fun parade.
There is some toasting and lots of roasting, and will Scrim be out tonight? You'll have to see. Looking forward to this. But now, let's thank some of our sponsors.
Bill and Ann Hughes. Bill and Ann Hughes have been fans of Le Krewe d'Etat since its inception. The whole Hughes family wishes all of our revelers a safe and happy Mardi Gras 2022.
Minister of Solid Waste and Richard the 28th and his revolutionaries.
Schonberg Care. Schonberg keeps you close to those you care about most. Savor life at a Schonberg community. Life is meant to be lived well, and we make sure that our residents live theirs to the absolute fullest. Our highly trained, passionate staff provides an unsurpassed level of compassionate care, but our stellar resident satisfaction rates are achieved through the amazing quality of life found at a Schonberg community. Laissez les bons temps rouler is the motto, and we make sure that the good times are always rolling at our communities. From exciting social and recreational activities like Mardi Gras balls and crawfish boils, to the customized wellness plans and complimentary laundry and housekeeping services offered, we go above and beyond to ensure that our residents are living the good life each and every day. Live a life worth celebrating at the Schonberg community nearest you. Learn more about our beautiful communities in New Orleans, Mandeville, Slidell, Luling, and Homa by visiting SchonbergCare.com today. Bob and Alice Hughes. Bob and Alice Hughes have been fans of Le Krewe d'Etat since its inception. The whole Hughes family wishes all of our revelers a safe and happy Mardi Gras 2022.
What a joy. The Budweiser Clydesdale, such a part of the New Orleans Carnival. They're appearing in a lot of parades, too. And I don't think it'd be Mardi Gras without a little bit of the Clydesdales as well. Errol, there are over 250 Clydesdales, that many. And they live in different parts of the country. Primarily, though, the breeding is done in Boonville, Missouri. But look at them, yay. And there's some ladies throwing stuff as well. But Anheuser-Busch Clydesdale, such a part of Mardi Gras,
Actually,
right?
these Clydesdales have been having an extended stay in New Orleans because they were here for the Super Bowl. And they've just been kind of camping out in City Park since then. They've been here for a while. But there's a law, which I respect very much in Mardi Gras, that prohibits having commercialism in parades. But there's an exception. Due to longevity and everything else, that's Budweiser.
Yes.
And so Budweiser is allowed to have it, kind of a grandfather clause sort of thing, which I don't think anybody questions that, because what a beautiful contribution it is to a parade.
As you can imagine, though, to be able to, the care and feeding of a Clydesdale is very expensive. So this has become such a tradition and such a symbol of Budweiser. And, God bless them for continuing to do it, because they've been around for a long time. One of the things, E, that I really look forward to with this parade, of course, there's the dictator and the various floats of a hierarchy. But their goal is, of course, is to make merry, but also to poke fun. And the great satire of this parade is just really one of the highlights. And they're not afraid about poking some fun, as we'll see in some of the detail of the parades. And the parades, this particular parade done by royal artists, has really contributed a lot to the satire. You got to keep it going, don't you think? And here's the Bon Soir, which is one of their marching groups. And as if anybody knows anything about coup d'etat, they know that the skull is one of their logos. And the Bon Soir is actually a bulletin information about the coup d'etat and what the parade will be. These guys dressed with their skulls looking a little scary.
And there are different degrees of satire, different crews do satire. These guys do pretty biting stuff. And they're innovative, but also it's one thing to make sassy jokes, but to be able to carry them out, which they do very effectively, as you see on their floats. They're all original floats. They're all originally designed floats. The crew members get together and they think of the gags, they think of what they want to do, they do a good idea. There's the Riding Lieutenants, which is a staple for every carnival organization that dress in the crew colors. I think it's a great sight. That's
It is
one
a
thing
great
that
sight.
defines the New Orleans Mardi Gras.
And the
when you see the
Cascade
Riding
Stables
Lieutenants.
is such a part of it too. They're the ones providing those horses in Audubon Park. Yeah, the look of the lieutenants' outfits, it's really classic New Orleans Carnival. We are awaiting the arrival of the dictator. There's no king in this crew, it's the dictator. This is not a democracy or a monarchy or anything. It's a dictator.
I remember when I was at the meeting many years.
Oh, here's the captain.
That's the
Yeah,
captain.
there's the captain.
Now, if you know anything about carnival governance, that the captain is the real dictator. I mean, the captain is the guy who runs the organization from day to day, whereas the dictator is dictator like for one night a year. That's the one night that he's dictator. But it's the captain who's like, I guess you call him more of like the CEO or the prime minister, in addition to be a dictator.
And the captain is also anonymous, we should point out, as is the dictator.
And traditionally, captains ride the white horse, and they dress in white.
Something great. Weather has cooperated. Fantastic crowds. Loving it.
Yes, the crowd's awesome. You look great. Have fun. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Ashley. And believe me, the hierarchy of this crew, as with most carnival crews, they work year-round, coming up with, of course, the themes and working closely with the artisans to rebuild those floats. As you've said often, I mean, this is one of those crews that they start all over again. It's from scratch, you know, and
Being a
it's a lot
captain is
of
a
work.
tough job. It's a year-round job. Traditionally, it's a non-paying job. But those lieutenants are the people who help you throughout the year.
Yes.
Here comes the dictator.
Yes, and all hail the all-seeing visionary leader of the coup d'etat's revolution. He and his legions will take control of the streets of the Crescent City. The identity of Richard the 28th is never publicly revealed. Should anyone be so foolish as to reveal it, he will be subject to a punishment that no one has ever seen.
One decorating touch I always like in the coup d'etat floats, I'm sure they use them too, but those flames.
Those float
Don't
torches.
worry, those floats will not catch on fire. Those are false flames, but they look great. And you see them coming from a distance, they're really good.
And yet another really classic carnival tradition are the pages who assist whoever is in charge. In this instance, the dictator.
And on behalf of the 62nd Mayor, Honorable Latoya Cantrell, we welcome you to your satirical style and the motto of this great crew: live to ride, ride to live. Hail d'etat, hail the dictator for this evening of Mardi Gras 2025. Live to ride, ride to live. May your ride be safe, sound, and stupendous. Give it up for Dictator, the great dictator!
You know, there are some crews that own all of their own floats, as Coup d'etat does. There are others that essentially lease some floats, but they have a few of their own floats. But usually a float that all crews have that's their own is the King's float, or it's called the Throne float. And I think that's one of the better looking throne floats.
I'm Michael.
I'm Robin. I'm Sandra. Well, I was going to ask you if you were having fun, but I don't think I need to ask you that. I think you are.
We're having a great time.
What's your favorite part so far?
You know, Carnival is all about the parades and all the people, the energy.
Dancing.
Absolutely, the music.
I think also the bands. The other night when we didn't have bands because they had to redo from a stormy, nasty Sunday, quite the same.
Are you guys from here?
Locals.
Do you come out to this parade every night? I mean, every Mardi Gras?
You know, if you're local and you embrace Carnival, you have to really get into it in a meaningful way, and it's a lot of fun, you know?
Absolutely. You guys have fun. All right, enjoy the parade.
And we've got the Tulane University Marching Band.
I love seeing this band every year because this is Tulane. You know, and Tulane doesn't have that big tradition like LSU Fighting Tiger Band or anything like that, you know. But to see this band, it's a smaller band. I don't know if it was, I know some of them were faculty members, some were students.
It's a mix.
And,
Yeah, it is a mix.
yeah,
There you go.
and it's a mixture, but I love seeing them. It's really in the spirit of an old college band. You know what? They're pretty good.
They are good.
I mean, they can compete with that Tiger Band out there with the dancing girl part of it.
For someone not familiar with the Uptown Parade ride, I mean, they've already walked a lot because normally they start around Napoleon or Jefferson, and it's quite a few miles going up St. Charles. And
Whenever bands
going all
pass
the way
Gallia Hall,
downtown.
they always do a little something extra. As they're doing here. I mean, they're not going to do this all along the route, but you at Gallia Hall, you play something extra, you dance a little harder. There, of course, is the flambeau.
Yeah.
We should acknowledge, you see the flambeau that there are some crews that own the whole collection of flambeau and they lease out to others, but Daytona owns its own. And they're all fairly newly made over the last few years, and which isn't an easy thing to do because you got to look up where do you find parts for a flambeau? But I think they have like 43 flambeau.
Yeah. And we've got coming up the banana wagon, the Dictator's banana wagon. And this goes back to a tradition with the Babbling Bastards of Bruno's, a time-honored carnival organization known uptown college circles. They used to use banana wagons for floats in the uptown area around Maple Street. That's a real tradition.
Yeah, there was an uptown bar called Bruno's, and they had a wagon. They called themselves the Battling Bastards of Bruno's. Okay, this right here is
the title float.
It's the mascot,
Yes.
the high priest.
The high priest.
As you can see, he's overdosed on Ozempic, all right? But he is a symbol of
Yes.
Daytona.
And the heroes and zeros, as you'll be meeting in the next few minutes.
Again, this is a satirical parade. Well, he's ugly. I mean,
He's
I'm not
scary.
one to put down the looks of parade theory. That's an ugly one. Okay. Anyway, heroes and zeros, which is the
Right.
perfect theme for a satirical parade.
Abdul the tent maker.
Oh yeah, Abdul. You see in there somewhere, Abdul the tent maker. Some of you may remember, others may not. But the late Buddy DiLiberto on this radio show every Friday night or every night at WWL used to have a cast of characters. One of them was a guy called Abdul the tent maker. And they'd call him, and especially on those weeks when the Saints lost, Those people call it when they really get in on it. The old Roman candy man.
Look at that.
If you notice the high priest teeth, he's eaten too much Roman candy in his life. But the rest of us, we get a choice between chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
And their motto you're seeing on a lot of these floats in Latin is, of course, live to ride, ride to live. There you go. See, live, here you go. They're right there. This is scary. Once again, we're the high priest.
So again, there's the logo, live to ride, ride to live. You know, which is something we should all live by.
Right. That's true, we should. Lots of skeletons in the house. It is. Notice the detail of those flowers. In fact, like all of that is done by hand. It's just amazing. And I also like the lighting. Look at the lighting, the track lighting underneath. Those kind of details, royal artists. And notice the back of the floats. Many times the back of the floats are also beautifully detailed.
And the light has moving elements to it.
Yeah. Oh boy, there's the Riddler, or the Diddler, we should say. The Giggler, rather, the Giggler. And this is Kamala. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is
cackling.
Remember, this is a satirical parade.
Yes, yes.
So it's satirical, you have a lot of politics. And as they'll say, it's all in good fun. But if you watch the campaign that Kamala Harris did have a tendency to giggle a lot. And so this is based on that.
This is pretty scathing, no doubt. Lots of little details. And her money gun sprayed cash to potential voters, but shot blanks at the polls.
And you see she has like a computer
Whoa.
where she pushes the
Look at that
button on
face.
the top
Yes, like the Riddler.
This is a local band. It's been around not a long time, but for a few years, called the Sunshine Band.
The Sunshine Band performs a mix of classic New Orleans music and modern top 40. They have all kinds of configurations, including their brass band, which we're seeing tonight. But they do second line, ceremonies, parades, weddings. But they've been a staple of coup d'etat the last few years, haven't they, E? The Dictator's Honor Guard. The Dictator's Honor Guard pays tribute to those who give the last full measure of devotion to the dictator and his revolution. The grim figure at the front is signaling a charge even in death, so as to vanquish either the dictator's enemies or at least the streets of New Orleans. And once again, the lighting on these floats are really superb.
So we know of coup d'etat that it has a dictator and that it has a high priest, and that the dictator has his own royal guard. And you'll see that the high priest has his group too. They'll be coming up ahead.
And this would be classified, E, as one of the signature floats, right? The floats that we see in the parade, the same floats every year, in addition to their annually themed ones.
Okay, everybody brace yourself, because in a
Okay.
few minutes you're going to see the star of this year's carnival.
That's right. But before we do, Ponchatoula High School, Green Wave Marching Band. They're also a Green Wave.
I love seeing bands from regional schools.
Yeah.
You know, from come into the city and to perform.
Imagine what it means to them
Yeah.
to march. Oh my goodness.
While you're enjoying this, I'm going to remind you again to prepare for what comes next.
If you see a little white animal kind of peeking off to the left of the screen, coming soon, You're going to see this float, which I think is going to be obviously, well, here we go, the Wonder Dog. And that is, of course, a pun on Wonder Dog, which is actually based on the Super Friends cartoons that every Gen Xer has seen. But we're talking about Scrim here. And
Scrim has been a star this carnival. And why not? Look at that. Okay.
yes.
And
He's got his own cape. How did that doggy fly out of the window? Talk about hitting the ground running. Just in case somebody hasn't heard, Scrim is back, and he's doing fine, and he's safe.
the two most famous animals in New Orleans these days are Scrim and Patch, the little pony that the police department has.
Oh yes, Patch is another favorite. I love his cape.
So they have like
And
a Wall
let's look at
Street
the
Journal
neighborhood.
thing
He
about
starts
talking
out
about it.
mid-city.
You notice these women on the side of the float,
Yeah.
that they're out either hunting, farm, or defending them.
Yes. Look at all the places he went to in the more recent past.
Hey guys, I'm down here with a special event. What's happening? Talk to me.
It's her birthday! My birthday! Happy 19!
It's been so fun being here. We love New Orleans and
Wouldn't want to do
Mardi
it
Gras,
anywhere else. Wouldn't want to
yes,
do it anywhere else.
yes.
How old? How old are you?
19.
All right, that's a big one. Kinda, right? You're close to it.
Last year being a teenager, so
Nasty 19.
we're ready. We're ready.
Only way to do Nasty 19 is in New Orleans.
What else are you looking forward to tonight?
Kind of going to sleep.
We're going to Endymion tomorrow.
Endymion Bowl tomorrow,
Like the
so
warm-up.
this is like a preview of tomorrow. But
Katy Perry and Train performing tomorrow, so we're pretty pumped for that. It's a good birthday surprise for her.
yeah.
Okay, what do you want to catch on your birthday? Like, what is the birthday thing that you want to catch?
I mean, I had to get handed these because nobody's throwing me anything. So honestly, anything bigger than a bead.
We're going to have to get, I guess, more excited. I guess they don't think we look happy enough to be here, but we're going to have to show them.
I want a football, so they should throw me a football.
Well, I'm going to be watching you because I want to make sure you're grabbing attention. Like,
We're going to get her a football.
I have to, yes.
they're throwing a lot of footballs. I think you're going to get one.
Hopefully. We'll see.
All right, well, happy birthday. You guys have fun.
All right, and here we have the Citadel.
This is one of the great precision marching groups.
There's 61 members. They are all first-class seniors in this military drill platoon based out of Charleston, South Carolina. Great uniforms, too. Huh?
Citadel's been marching for years.
Next up, the Ragin' Cajun from the swamps of southwest Louisiana. Governor Landry has started fast by putting the 10 Commandments in classrooms and guns on the street while removing the homeless and four-wheelers from our streets.
Yeah, if you're watching this broadcast and if you happen to be governor, you may not enjoy this float.
Yes,
Or maybe you will.
it's
okay,
satire. It's
Again,
satire.
it's in good fun. But they're talking about, well, they spoof his defense of the 10 Commandments. They don't necessarily spoof, but they show his troop Nola standing in the back of Bourbon Street. They also show him riding an alligator.
The Hall of Injustice. And of course, this is based on the Super Friends cartoon as well, featuring the Hall of Justice. The rats have taken over City Hall. The Office of Code Enforcement empty. The Office of Trash Collection only open on Wednesdays. Some people feel like things aren't working. Building permits. It is quite a, talk about biting satire here, the Hall of Injustice.
They have a that's just imaginary now. They're just having fun.
Yes.
Assessor. And his name is Ben, B-E-N, bend over, D-O-V-E-R, like bend over, okay?
And see the
As far as your
special
chest.
man?
So you got to assume what that means.
The New Orleans Nymphs. New Orleans Nymphs. One of many local groups that make these parades so extra special. Oh, wow, this is really something. The Invisible Woman. It appears that this is rather biting satire concerning our current mayor.
Well, it's in reference. Again, it's all in fun. Okay. To Mayor Cantrell, who they make look kind of like ghost-like right there.
Yeah.
For her trips and things.
Yeah, relating to
Yes.
her
And
large
in the
amount
back,
of travel.
I don't know if you can see him, kind of a spooky-looking character. That represents Lee Zurich, who's the reporter who's been
yes.
covering a lot of
Yes.
her expenditures. You see that in the very back.
Yeah. All right, the Dictator's Dancing Dollins. This is the coup d'etat's very own synchronized dance team. And I am told that they actually predate the 610 Stompers.
Yeah, it's made up of members of coup d'etat. As you can see, they're all great dancers.
Yeah, it's called the Dancing Ditty Party. All right, now this one, ooh, the Diddler as opposed to the Riddler. Ain't no party like a P. Diddy party. And of course, that's fairly X-rated. But you can look at some of the details and I guess figure it out. P. Diddy, of course, being one of the better-known rappers. Mount Carmel Academy presents their dance group, Rhythm.
And they've been a regular in this parade. It's good to see that because I don't think they get to do a lot of parades, but it's good to see them in there.
All right, this is another superhero, Thor. Well, not quite. What happens when the oldest profession hooks up with the internet? While we're not judges, it sure looks like pornography. Take heed, should any super voluptuous villain lure you to roam their wicked way, camouflage your credit card charges and erase your search history. And this is certainly a jab at the OnlyFans website. So Valhalla, as opposed to Valhalla, where the Norse kingdom. I need a hammering. Ooh, ouch. All right, Madison Prep Academy Band out of Baton Rouge.
And Jeff, my new friends. How are you? We're having a great time. And you're not from here, right?
No, we're from California.
And this is your first Mardi Gras or no?
No, this is our fourth.
What keeps you coming back?
The people are amazing. The atmosphere is infectious. Just everything. We love it.
That's amazing. Do you have a favorite thing that you caught so far tonight?
I think I caught the little Hermes light up ears, the light up wings. That was amazing.
there anything you're hoping to catch?
I don't know what's out there, so I don't know what to expect.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of the parade. So nice to meet you. Have a great time. Back to you guys.
Tell us how the 610 Stompers evolved, Dee.
610 Stoppers, this is one of the real success stories in New Orleans. It started several years ago when the Saints had those big seasons. And there was a group of people sitting in section 610 in the Superdome. And they just developed a lot of camaraderie, cheering and going crazy. So they developed a group. They developed a men's marching group. I guess you call that marching. It's kind of more of a men's dancing group. They've been a big success. People really like them.
Ordinary men,
And what they like
extraordinary
is the
moves.
costume. Look at their costume, which is sort of a spoof of a female's costume. and they get together, and they rehearse and they dance.
And you have
Or
to
whatever that
audition.
is.
I mean, you know, they don't just take just anybody.
No.
They're actually annual tryouts for this too.
And the group through the years has marched in the Macy's parade.
Oh yes.
So a lot of people think that the 610 is named after a place on the interstate or something.
I-610.
No, it's a section in the Superdome.
This is all very carefully choreographed.
And their motto is like, ordinary men doing ordinary moves.
Yes, indeed.
And as you say, that they live up to their motto.
Love the headbands.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, it is.
Lieutenant with the background of New Orleans, those old buildings.
All right, coming up, Cesspool. Of course, poking fun of the movie Deadpool, which is another superhero movie. But this one has something to do with that school in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, this is criticizing hard times with LSU.
Brian Kelly. LSU
Really,
thought they had struck.
That's Coach Kelly, who left
Yeah.
Notre Dame to come coach at LSU. Very controversial move, and it hasn't gone all that well. And, in fact, Notre Dame played for the national championship this past year. Anyway, so a lot of people said, it might have been a mistake.
This is pretty scathing. And there's Coach Orgeron.
Yeah, Coach Orgeron comes in
Missing him.
a bunch of women saying, "Do y'all miss me yet?" You know.
Ooh.
He was the one who was fired to be replaced by Kelly.
And here's Riverdale High School out of Metairie, Louisiana. You know, the quiet heroes are folks, the parents of these students and bands. So many parents march alongside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really. And so instead, this is Krewe Panther.
It kind of spoofs Councilman J.P. Morrell, who's really actually done a good job of kind of like policing Mardi Gras and crews that are kind of maybe don't need to be there. And there was like a lot of controversy, for example, the crew of Knicks. And anyway, they show him kind of trying to X out crews, but as part of the joke, they see Daytona on the list too, okay? In Druids, there was a little bit of competition between some of these crews. And then
And you
So
know,
anyway, it's a spoof of his being the Creole Panther as
Yeah.
opposed to the Black Panther.
right, the Black Panther.
Out threatening people. But in fairness, he has done a good job in trying to straighten out a lot of the regulations about going. And if you think this is a boost for his running for mayor, he said he's not running.
Okay. And this is the Kingberry High School Marching Band from Memphis, Tennessee. We're hearing sometimes the voice of Chris Franklin, who's narrating for the crowd across the street at Gallier Hall. WWL-TV's Chris Franklin. And the next one is Wonder Woman. Ooh. This one refers to the Olympic boxer controversy, and the float confronts the viewer with the question, what is a woman? Maybe Mike Tyson does have a future in boxing after all. Wonder Woman. Look at the baby. Look at the king cake baby. And here's, oh, this is the property truck for Royal Artists. Very clever. And we, once again, need to give credit to Royal Artists for building this parade. The coup d'etat asked them to build it, and a lot of artistry has come through tonight.
And they do a good job.
They really do.
It's a hard parade to do because it's satire, so a lot of times they think that it's last minute.
And we should point out they also do
they
Rex
do a good job.
and Proteus and some other parades. The Mighty Merchants. South Blackman High School Marching Band. Nice uniforms. Next up, Frat Man, dressed in the frattiest attire, a toga, a cap, and sunglasses hanging from his neck. Instead of Batman, this Cape Crusader can stay up all night on the parade route and then lift large sofas over barricades in a single bound, all the while drinking high noons. Their motto, we came, we drank, we came. Some wild and crazy guys. Lots of inside jokes in there. Oh, the heartbeats. This parade is actually a crew of healthcare professionals from LCMC's health hospitals, the clinics and practices around New Orleans area. Over 150 members, and there's a total of 150 have been marching in smaller groups, of course, in the parades. They move to 80s music. The Heartbeat. Love that name, The Heartbeat. And the pink skirts, mighty cute.
Well, good for them, especially with the nursing shortage. If they can have a good time,
Yeah,
the power to them.
absolutely. All right, Boy Blunder, Robin, or Captain Underpants as he's commonly known. Ooh. Rides again in Jefferson Parish.
Yeah, I don't know quite
Yeah, I
what
don't
to say
wanna-
about this one. All right.
Well, let it speak for itself.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just judge for yourself.
we'll let you judge
It has
for
some
yourself.
pretty touchy humor
Yes.
to it, but this is a former controversy dealing with a former Jefferson Parish politician.
The take on Robin.
I will say this, it is a subject I've never seen dealt with in a carnival.
No.
Again, as they say, it's always good fun.
Here's the Dictator's Royal Navy. The Dictator's Revolution takes to the high seas. This is another one of those signature floats, and it includes a band.
If I was a dictator and I had a boat, I don't know if I'd make a skeleton my lookout guy.
Yeah.
Talk about low credibility.
Okay, you're not supposed to take your mask off. All right, the Destrehan High School Marching Band. We
Pretty
know
sharp.
that. We know that music. Once again, the Destrehan.
It's a spoof on President Trump's more controversial cabinet appointments.
There's Elon Musk. RFK is Doctor Strange. Hegseth is a drunk Captain America. Cash is the head of the FBI. And Homan is the Thing.
Of course, there's Musk in the front.
That's a pretty good Musk.
That's a good caricature. I
Yeah.
mean, the artists do good work. I mean, there's a figure in the center and the bottom of Robert Kennedy Jr. saying, "My magic will cure you."
Right behind them is the Morris Jeff Band. is a school that has grown exponentially, a real source of pride in the public school system. And E, you remember Morris Jeff well, don't you? Morris Jeff, wonderful community leader, Morris Jeff Band.
Yeah, I knew Morris Jeff. He worked for NORD, the Recreation Department. And in another era, he coordinated the programs dealing with the black community, all the swimming pools and various programs, and I worked under him over there. So a really nice man. Also very active in Zulu.
This is the Legion, the Legion of Gloom.
This spoofs all the people
James Carville here, right?
Yeah. Who were absolutely convinced that Kamala Harris would win the presidency. I feel like the more Democrat, liberal people and how they're reacting. At the top, you see James Carville with his patent LSU jersey. You see Tim Walz, who was the vice presidential nominee, who has lost his shirt. Whoopi Goldberg, and then other commentators, all who just feel like they lost tonight.
And the Legion of Gloom, based on another Super Friends cartoon, the lead from the Legion of Doom, pun.
The same scene could have been acted out 8 years earlier, the first time that Trump won. All the people who thought he was going to lose.
Okay, Terminator. Are the Saints trapped in a Skynet cyborg nightmare?
Yeah, bad postseason for coaches. Coach Dennis Allen in the Saints didn't even get it to the postseason. He got fired midseason. And other people who lost out or who didn't make it one way or the other, including Tom Brady, who's always been successful except as a TV announcer. And so anyway, and you see Mickey Loomis and concerned about the sale of season tickets. So this was kind of like bad news for.
And look at Buddy D, world. An homage to Buddy D and Hokie Guy and Bobby Hebert.
And you see some angels. You see
look at
Hokie
this.
Guy
We need another.
Oh
wow! There you go. This is the Kirby High Marching School Band out of the Memphis area. Kryptonite. Every superhero has a weakness, from Achilles' heel to bits of krypton that drain even Superman's powers. However, our sewage and waterboard and energy are susceptible to balloons. Look at the Mylar, the remnants of the Mylar balloons relating to, what, the story that took out the power grid, the Mylar part of the power grid?
I think the joke is that kryptonite was the one thing that couldn't stop Superman.
Yeah, Mylar
But you
balloons.
see all the energy workers, and apparently kryptonite's having their impact on them. Again, the theme, in case you forgot, it's heroes and zeros.
Yes,
Sing a lot of the
yes, just a
zeros, I
reminder.
think, on this book.
If you are watching from afar, we are in downtown New Orleans, right across from the historic Gallier Hall, which for many years was City Hall, and is now more of a ceremonial place, but it's extremely historic, dating back to the 1850s. Named for the architect, James Gallier. And let me say that Crew d'Etat is one of those crews that they're very generous and very creative with their throws. They throw a lot of stuff, and they're trying to think more sustainable to things that you can use, and that is the trend with a lot of the crews.
And you know, they pioneered the blinky throws, which now you see all over. And from where we sit, if you look down St. Charles Avenue, between Gallier Hall and Canal Street, you see
Lots of
lights
blinking.
all along the way for the crowd.
Okay, Aquaman, Coach Summerall rode the green wave all the way to the championship game, state champs, and playoff buzz. But while his buddy in BR gets roasted, will the good times continue to roll uptown?
Yeah, Tulane's been playing better football, but they didn't. They got in the bowl game this time. They didn't do too well.
And then Super Trump, faster than a speeding bullet.
You see, it's kind of like stepping stones for Tulane coaches.
Yeah. Mention of fake news.
They played in the bowl game in December.
Yeah. It's a Super Trump.
That's the scoop on Trump, yeah. And showing his scars
And here's the Catwoman, J.D. Vance, creator of Firestorm, who, when saying the opposition role model was childless cat ladies. So this is definitely a pun on that. There's J.D. Vance. What a great parade.
and they weren't shy.
No, they drew a lot of stuff too. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Bill and Ann Hughes. Bill and Ann Hughes have been fans of Le Krewe d'Etat since its inception. The whole Hughes family wishes all of our revelers a safe and happy Mardi Gras 2022.
Minister of Solid Waste and Richard the 28th and his revolutionaries.
Schonberg Care. Schonberg keeps you close to those you care about most. Savor life at a Schonberg community. Life is meant to be lived well, and we make sure that our residents live theirs to the absolute fullest. Our highly trained, passionate staff provides an unsurpassed level of compassionate care, but our stellar resident satisfaction rates are achieved through the amazing quality of life found at a Schonberg community. Laissez les bon temps rouler is the motto, and we make sure that the good times are always rolling at our communities. From exciting social and recreational activities like Mardi Gras balls and crawfish boils, to the customized wellness plans and complimentary laundry and housekeeping services offered, we go above and beyond to ensure that our residents are living the good life each and every day. Live a life worth celebrating at the Schaumburg community nearest you. Learn more about our beautiful communities in New Orleans, Mandeville, Slidell, Luling, and Homa by visiting SchaumburgCare.com today. Bob and Alice Hughes. Bob and Alice Hughes have been fans of Le Coup d'Etat since its inception. The whole Hughes family wishes all of our revelers a safe and happy Mardi Gras 2022.
Ashley and Errol, we had such a fun time, and you caught some cool things.
Yes, look, a pillow. I mean, does it get better than this? Cups, you expect that, right? But a cocktail shaker.
I'm excited.
A cocktail shaker.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love anything that lights up, right?
That's right. And speaking of lighting up, Errol, you're lighting up.
I want to point out that the historic thing about Coup d'Etat is that it is the crew that introduced blinky throws, blinky things. And you look down the street, you see a lot of people who blink. And this is the dictator, who's the equivalent of the king. So it's a blinky dictator. And I always say, everybody needs to have a blinky dictator.
Well, I know one thing that you and I marvel at is the creativity, especially when you have a satirical parade. And in terms of being topical, sometimes it's at the last minute, huh?
Yeah, satire is a really important part of carnivals. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can pull it off. But these guys work hard with their satire. And you know, the nature of satire is sometimes things change at the last moment. The thing you need to do, you need to redesign the float. And so it's hard to do and to be on top of it and to still be funny and to still have the right design, but they're good at it.
I was especially tickled by the ode to Scrim tonight, the Wonder Dog.
Yeah, if people don't know, Scrim is the dog who was picked up by a dog care place, and the idea was to try to domesticate him. He wanted no part of being domesticated, and maybe he will one day, but he's escaped like 3 times already. But these wonderful people, good-hearted people, are taking care of him. But at the very least, he's become a celebrity. He may not be domesticated yet, but he's certainly a star.
And let's hear it for Royal Artists, who presents the ideas of the Coup d'Etat and really does a great job of the original work all year round.
Yeah, a man named Herbert Janke started Royal Artists a few years ago, and then it's been taken over by a guy named Richard Valladay. He's doing a good job. He's doing a lot of the major parades, mostly in New Orleans, with a few in Mobile and on the road. But he's doing just fine work.
Well, let's hear it for the Coup d'Etat. Ashley and Errol, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. Happy Mardi Gras.